Hello there, this is teacher Randil. Welcome back. Today I am going to teach you geography. This is the third video in this series of the planet Earth we live on. If you haven't watched my previous videos in this series, you may watch them first. Then you are ready for this lesson. You can use the above link which appears on the screen. The main objective of this lesson is to learn about latitudes and longitudes. First we will be looking at what latitudes and longitudes are. Then we will go through some major latitudes. Next you can have a clear idea about hemispheres, northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. Next we will pay our attention to Greenwich prime meridian and international dateline. Then join me in this lesson. Since you are ready, let's get started. Geography, the planet Earth we live, Unit 1, Latitude and Longitude, Lesson 3. Let's learn about the objective of this lesson. The main objective of this lesson is to learn about latitudes and longitudes. Let's look at what the latitudes and longitudes are. Have you ever observed a geographical globe? When you observe a geographical globe, you may see a set of lines drawn from north to south and west to east. Those lines are imaginary lines drawn by us. Those imaginary lines are called latitudes and longitudes. Let's learn more about latitudes and longitudes in detail. The lines drawn from west to east around the geographical globe are called latitudes, and the lines drawn vertically from the North Pole to the South Pole are called longitudes. Do you know how to answer this question? What's a latitude? An imaginary line drawn horizontally around the geographical globe from west to east is called a latitude. How can you write an answer to this question? What's a longitude? An imaginary line drawn vertically from North Pole to South Pole is called a longitude. Now you can tell me what the difference between a latitude and longitude is. A latitude is drawn horizontally from west to east, and a longitude is drawn vertically from North Pole to South Pole. It's time to look at what the main latitudes are. Look at this geographical globe here. The imaginary line drawn at 0 degrees is the equator. The line drawn at 23½ degrees north is called Tropic of Cancer. The line drawn at 23½ degrees south is called Tropic of Capricorn. The line drawn at 66½ degrees north is called Arctic Circle. The line drawn at 66½ degrees south is called Antarctic Circle. The point which is drawn at 90 degrees north is called North Pole. The point which is drawn at 90 degrees south is called the South Pole. Now we will be looking at hemispheres of Earth. Let's have a look at this geographical globe here. You can see the equator drawn at 0 degrees. The equator can divide Earth into two hemispheres. The hemisphere which is above the equator is called Northern Hemisphere. The hemisphere which is below the equator is called Southern Hemisphere. All the latitudes drawn around the geographical globe can be divided into two categories based on their location, whether they are above the equator or below the equator. When you see this geographical globe, you can see the equator. When you examine this globe, you can see a number of lines of latitudes. All the latitudes above the equator and around the northern hemisphere are called northern latitudes, and all the latitudes below the equator and around the southern hemisphere are called southern latitudes. That's all for latitudes. Now let's look at longitudes more in detail. There are two major longitudes. As we all know now, longitudes are imaginary lines that are drawn vertically from North Pole to South Pole. The zero longitude, which is drawn across the Greenwich city in England, is the Greenwich prime meridian. The international date line, which is not a straight line, is an international accepted demarcation on the surface of Earth, running between the North Pole and the South Pole, and serving as the boundary between one calendar day and the next. It passes through the Pacific Ocean. roughly following the 180 degrees line of longitude. As we did with the latitudes, we can divide all the longitudes drawn from North Pole to South Pole into two main categories. Can you see the Greenwich prime meridian drawn at 0 degrees from North Pole to South Pole? As you can see, all the longitudes which are located to the west of prime meridian are called west longitudes, and all the longitudes which are located to the east of prime meridian are called east longitudes. That's all for the lesson on latitudes and longitudes. We have come to the end of our presentation. If you have any doubt on this lesson, you may contact us. All the contact details are given below in the description. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you find this video important and useful, subscribe to our channel and alarm the notification bell. Don't forget to share this video. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye now.